This video has been funded in part by the Guild via Patreon. Check out the links in the description or at the end of this video for more details. Hello everyone, my name is Gildart, and welcome back to another Pros vs. Cons mini review. The Atelier series has always been one that I have kept an eye on, but I haven't dived into any specific series nearly as much as I have with Ryza. When the first game came out, I did a Let's Play of it. Not too long after that, I popped the Platinum Trophy. Then when the sequel came out, I had just started these mini reviews a year prior, so I did one for that. It took me a long time to get the Platinum Trophy for Ryza 2. In fact, it wasn't until the end of last year that I got it. But when I jumped back into Ryza 2, I was diving into the deep end, ready to go for broke. After finishing the game, I was on the edge of my seat waiting for the third game in the series to be released, and that day has finally come. Atelier Ryza 3 Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key is hitting PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC as of March 24th, 2023. I do want to give a massive thank you to Koei Tecmo America for providing a review code for the Digital Deluxe Edition. The Ryza series has been such a great ride so far, and I can't help but get giddy with excitement for this next entry. We get to see the largest group of characters to join Ryza yet, and with what I have seen leading up to launch, the game is shaping up to evolve everything from the first two games provided with gameplay, mechanics, and story. I have been waiting for this game ever since it was announced back in September, so to say that I'm hyped is an absolute understatement. But maybe I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. Don't forget to give this video a like, comment with your thoughts below, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, let's jump into Atelier Ryza 3. Ready, set, Pros. Okay, if you're not already drooling just by looking at this game, there's something wrong with you. Atelier Ryza 3 is the best looking Atelier game to date. Atelier games may not look hyper-realistic like other JRPGs out there, but the Atelier series has always gone for a cozy anime aesthetic, which really plays into the series' fantasy slice-of-life atmosphere. The thing with Atelier Ryza 3 is that every character stands out so well. Even when you put them in their past costumes, you can tell you're playing the latest entry thanks to how much more expressive these models are. You're going to see more facial expressions than in previous games. Not only that, you're going to feel the emotions these characters feel. Early in the game, the main cast of characters start coming together, and the nostalgic feeling I got from all of them preparing to go on another adventure was only amplified by the nostalgia they all expressed in their mannerisms and words. The visuals are also made that much better thanks to this game choosing to go fully open world. We've experienced open world Atelier games before, but Ryza 3 just feels so perfectly crafted. One of the first things you'll find yourself doing is running around Kirkin Island, the hub town of the first game. Everything here is recreated to perfection in the new game's engine, but instead of running between small parts of the town separated by loading screens, you can freely roam around town. The only real loading screens you may experience are when you travel by boat between town and the mainland, and when you enter a house like the Atelier. There was one point where I was on the top of a hill overlooking the open world I could explore, and my jaw dropped. I literally had to slowly pan the camera around to see the open world. You can also go to places like the Pixie Forest and Traveler's Road from the first game and explore those areas without any limitations. One thing that makes exploration a blast is the combat. You have the usual Atelier Ryza combat here. If you haven't played the past games, the Ryza series steps away from the usual turn-based JRPG combat and utilizes a more free-flowing, active turn-based style. With Atelier Ryza 3, you can tell when you or an enemy is able to make a move by the circle around your AP or the icon respectively. When you're ready to make a move, you can press square to use an item, X to flee, or circle to attack. You can press circle multiple times to create a combo, which will increase your tactical level. The higher your tactical level, the more normal attacks you'll have access to. You can also block using triangle at any point, which helps when an enemy gets the opportunity to attack. But if you run out of normal attacks, you can also choose to use skills. Skills use AP, which is shared among your party and earned by attacking. You can chain your normal attacks and multiple skills as long as you have the AP to do so. There's also a short window to use skills after a normal attack or other skills, making combat very active. Items are also not limited to the number that you have. Instead, they consume CC, which is earned through time or certain actions in combat. You can chain items together as long as you have enough CC to use them all. You can also consume 10 AP to use an item when it's not your turn. Seriously, the combat for Ryza 3 is way more robust and smooth than in previous titles. All that brings me to the most important part of a JRPG, the story. The Atelier Ryza series has been a bit of a roller coaster. The first Ryza started off really strong, giving me lots to latch onto and kickstarted the story in a way that hooked me instantly, but did start to die off around the midpoint only to ramp up again leading to the end. Ryza 2 didn't catch me as instantly as the first game, but was a slower build with an incredible payoff that nearly had me in tears with its ending. Ryza 3 is similar to the first Ryza in the way that it starts. In fact, the first moment you gain control of your character is in combat, not exploration. The main cast of characters including Ryza, Lent, Tao, Claudia, and Bose all gather together to solve the mystery of random islands popping up in the middle of the trade routes to Kirkin Island. This is also causing issues with something from the first game which I will not spoil. But the stakes are high right from the get-go. The character interactions when they reminisce as they venture through past areas is so emotional I actually felt myself wearing a genuine smile. It was almost like I was there with them discussing our past adventures. Though you can easily jump into Ryza 3 thanks to the inclusion of a movie to watch from the previous game's events, it doesn't hit the same as playing through all 3 games to get the most out of the story. Also, you can pet the animals in this game and they'll give you items. This is the best game ever. 10 out of 10. Cons! Let's start things off with something that kind of bugs me with a lot of modern games lately, and that's the depth of field. It's not that having a DOF makes a game look bad, but I have a preference to turn this off. I usually do this anytime I'm playing a PC game. I feel it just makes the world look better overall, but I understand that a lot of people like to have this in their games. I just think it would be great if things like depth of field, motion blur, and other cosmetic visual effects were made as options in the console releases. I'm playing on PS5 because I'm more of a console gamer. Just knowing that I don't have to worry about my PS5 failing or a part failing as much as I might have to worry with my PC means I can just turn this console on, sit down, and play my games. I will also say that I've experienced a couple of odd visual glitches like shadows not reacting the way that they should. That being said, these are very few and far between for an open world game like this. I also miss the time when Atelier games were dubbed in English. I mention a lack of dub in my native language as a comp because I am a slow reader. I also have ADHD, so I get distracted very easily. But when it comes to Atelier Ryza, I'm fairly torn on this. I've played through the first 2 games with these characters and their Japanese voices. If they were cast in English, sure, I would be able to get more enjoyment out of the story by turning on the auto progression during conversations. But would I be able to accept the new voices given how much time I've spent with their Japanese representations? I guess the reason for this con is not necessarily because there's no English dub, but because I'm confused whether or not I want an English dub for this 3rd game. I also mentioned that you can interact with various animals throughout the story. You can pet the cats and dogs you'll find who will give you random items for doing so. You can also find birds and squirrels who will guide you to treasure or side quests like killing specific enemies. The one that I thought was the coolest was being able to ride the dolphins when you're exploring the mysterious islands. The only thing that felt off was when you get back to land. There's no real animation or anything to blend this together. The dolphin just disappears and you start running on the land. With how high quality everything else feels, this seems almost like an oversight. The last animal you'll run into are the goats, which are randomly dispersed around the world. But you can't do anything with them? Nothing at all. You can't pet them, ride them, feed them. I take back my 10 out of 10. This is literally the worst game ever. In the end, Atelier Ryza 3 is more than I expected. I usually try to stay away from any major information when it comes to a game like this, and I happened to miss the fact that this was an open world game. Running around the areas I had been in before, but not having to deal with loading screens and being able to freely roam around at my leisure was something I just wasn't expecting. There is also a point in the game where you travel to a new area which opens the map even more. I can't believe how much exploration this game provides, and I can see myself being stuck in this world for years without getting tired of it. So with all that's being said, I give Atelier Ryza 3, The Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key a thumbs up. This was one of those mini reviews where I struggled to come up with the cons. I did not expect the scope of this game to be so big. I know I still have videos to work on for April and especially for Musou, but I am going to need to find time somewhere in there to play more of this game. Sure, I want to continue playing the other games that I've reviewed this year like Wolong and Fatal Frame, but I need to play more of this. I've even started replaying the first game to prepare for some potential full reviews to come in the future, but for now, I am going to continue my adventure with Ryza and gang. I'm also writing this script the day that the anime was announced, so I need to get that into my life. The Ryza series has not only become one of my favorites in the Atelier franchise, but it has quickly become my favorite JRPG of all time. I'm hopeful this high rides out as I continue through the third entry. I have high expectations for the rest of the story, and no worries at all that this game could potentially not meet them. Like I said earlier, you can jump right into Ryza 3 without too much to worry about, but you won't get the full experience without playing the others as well. The payoff is so worth it, and you too will fall in love with this world and characters. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching my mini review of Atelier Ryza 3. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe for more. Also, let me know in the comments below if you're hyped for the anime as much as I am. If you'd like to help support this channel and what I do here, you can join the guild just like these awesome people that you're seeing on screen right now. You can join their names at the end of every single video for just $1 a month over on Patreon, or you can donate in a one-time fashion and join the volunteer unit over on Ko-fi. There are other rewards and other tiers as well, so check out the links that you see on screen, and I will see you all down in the comments.